MetaOutput. Work with output data never been so simple. What is MetaOutput? MetaOutput is an attempt to reinvent the most used tools of any integrated development environment, IDE. Functionality of all these tools is moved to a single tool. Result became simpler, smaller, faster and more functional than existing solution. Why MetaOutput was made? Development of standard output tool is frozen, but it's too weak to be enough. Nobody improves it. And it was a reason why MetaOutput was created. Why MetaOutput is different from all. MetaOutput is based on this approach. Output data, log files, it's not a text. It looks strange, but seems almost nobody use this idea in own software products. What is base of MetaOutput? Each trace message is complicated object with own visualization. It consists of next blocks. Content, main text. Comment, text on the right. Message source and type, icons on the left. Timestamp, date and time of on the left. Operations with message, buttons on the right. Which goals should be achieved? MetaOutput should solve only three problems: simplicity, simplicity, and simplicity. Simply to learn it. Simply to use it. Simply to change it. Goal. Support any data complexity. Doesn't matter which kind of data is used, it should be visualized in natural form. Everything must be clear without any learning and any explanations. Goal. Support any data types. Text messages, hierarchical data, audio, video, pictures or even HTML pages should be visualized as is directly from MetaOutput. Goal. Visualize any data sources. Data from different sources should be performed and visualized in one place simultaneously. Goal. Everything is possible to see. All data should have visual representation and be represented in clear form. Everything should be obvious from first look. Goal. Everything is possible to hear. Everything that requires special attention should have option to be played as audio by using text-to-speech mechanism. Goal. Everything is possible to find. Any trace message should be possible to find by text search. Search initiating and switching to found results should be obvious and fast. Goal. Everything is possible to filter. User should have possibility to change visibility of concrete messages or even whole sources. Don't want to see something? Make it invisible. Goal. Everything is possible to highlight. Everything that have special interest can be highlighted by user. Highlighted message or not highlighted should be obvious from first look. Goal. Everything should be in one place. Many tools, much place for it, switching between it, rearrangement of it. Forget it forever. Only one place where all data will be collected and visualized. Goal. Everything in real time. Data collecting, transforming, filtering, highlighting and visualization should work simultaneously in real time without any delays. Compilation process in parallel or executing of debugging program should not have any influence on work of application. Everything must work quickly. Adaptation to color schema. MetaOutput supports native for IDE color schemas. This screenshot demonstrates dark and light color schemas. Adaptation to user preferences. MetaOutput supports several message line styles: disabled, half line, full line. This screenshot demonstrates half-line and full-line visualization. Visualization of default sources. MetaOutput supports these sources for all IDEs by default. Visualization of additional sources. List of supported sources can be easily extended. These sources are additionally available in Visual Studio by default. Also, own sources can be added using TML. Example on the screen demonstrates how to do it. Visualization of default types. MetaOutput supports these types for all IDEs by default. Visualization of specific types. List of supported types can be easily extended using TML. Example on the screen demonstrates how to do it. Visualization of unknown file formats. MetaOutput doesn't know all existing file formats, it is impossible. However, it became possible using extensions to this product. Now is written support for next file formats. List on the screen. Visualization of several sources. Trace messages can be visualized from several sources simultaneously. Visualization of hierarchical data. Trace messages can be represented as hierarchical data with unlimited depth. Visualization of links to files. Trace messages can have different link buttons. Visualization of execution progress. Trace messages can visualize continuous operations. Visualization of timestamps. Trace messages can have timestamps with date and time. Visualization of name values. Trace messages can be represented as name equals value. Visualization of audio files. Trace messages can visualize playing of audio files, placed locally or remote. Visualization of pictures. Trace messages can visualize picture files, placed locally or remote. Visualization of charts. Trace messages can visualize chart diagrams. Visualization of HTML files. Trace messages can visualize HTML files, placed locally or remote. Visualization of HTML content. Trace messages can visualize HTML content directly injected into the message. Visualization of tables. Trace messages can visualize data tables. Visualization of text files. Trace messages can visualize text files, placed locally or remote. Visualization of video files. Trace messages can visualize playing of video files, placed locally or remote. Visualization attributes. Alignments. Some complex controls can have different alignments. Visualization attributes. Colors. Visual elements can have own background and foreground colors. Visualization attributes. Fonts. Textual visual elements can use different font names and styles. What is message hiding? Any trace message can be hidden by user. By pressing close button, all similar messages will be hidden. You can toggle visibility of hidden messages. What is message playing? Any trace message can be played as audio by user. Such messages will be played by text-to-speech mechanism. What is pinned messages? Any trace message can be pinned by user. Such messages will not be removed on clear all operation. What is filtering? Filtering is mechanism which simplifies analyzing of incoming data. It can reduce amount of visible data and highlight some interesting messages. Reducing of data is possible by hiding of not interesting messages, by hiding of not interesting sources, by hiding of all messages which don't contain some search string, like grep. Everything is working in real time. Filter mode. Filter. Showing only that messages which have required search string. New messages will be also filtered. Filter mode. Content highlight. Highlighting of all messages which have required search string in content. New messages will be also highlighted. Filter mode. Comment highlight. Highlighting all messages which have required search string in comment. New messages will be also highlighted. Source filtering. User can show or hide any data source with one click. What is MetaOutput building? MetaOutput provides completely new user experience in project building. It gives possibility to see current building process together with compilation errors and warnings. Also available compilation status for each project and overall status. Building. Compilation status. Summary about how many projects compiled successfully and failed is here. Building. Compilation process. Detailed information about build process is available for each project. Building. Compilation results. Detailed information about compilation results is available for each project. What is MetaOutput debugging? MetaOutput provides completely new user experience in software debugging. It gives possibility not only to see current state of application debugging, but to do it in the past. It's convenient mechanism, but also, its new vision of time travel debugging. Debugging. Breakpoints. Detailed information is visualized for each application stops on breakpoints. The latest breakpoint shows call stack automatically. Debugging. Exceptions. Detailed information is visualized for each thrown exceptions. Stack trace with local variables is also available. Debugging. Call stacks. Call stack will be visualized for each breakpoint or exception. Number of function calls can be restricted by user preferences. Debugging. Variables. Local variables can be visualized for each function call. Amount of data can be restricted by timeout and depth of extracted data. Debugging. Nestings. Collecting of data for classes and structures can have different depth. It can be restricted by user preferences and timeouts. Debugging. Timeouts. Some function calls can have too many variables. Their extraction can take a lot of time. If to do it without any restrictions, this operation will make huge penalties for debug process. Therefore, data extracting will be stopped by ending of this operation or by exceeding of some interval of time. Debugging. Settings. User have possibility to change any preferences by pop-up menu. What is Trace Message Language, TML? TML is new data definition language integrated into MetaOutput. It can be used as substitution of XML, JSON, YAML, any and other such languages. It can be used as new standard for logging. It can be used as new data container. It can be easily extended for many other goals. Is TML already defined as standard? TML will be defined as ISO standard and specification will be available for all for free. Any limitations with using, integrating to own products, commercial and non-commercial using will be absent. However, further development of this language must be coordinated with author of this standard. Where to get information about TML. Will be prepared additional presentation about TML. How to use TML. MetaOutput can visualize trace messages received from source code, from MetaOutput client library, from console mode in MetaOutput. Using TML. From source. Example on the screen demonstrates how to send TML message directly from source code. Using TML. From API. Example on the screen demonstrates how to send message using MetaOutput client library. Using TML. From MetaOutput. New message is possible to send directly from MetaOutput using TML. What is TML patterns? TML pattern is official extension of TML. Each such pattern add to TML new attributes which are focused on using in some application area. Some patterns, which can be commonly used, will be accepted as standard. TML pattern. TML.core. Pattern TML.core provides such functionality to TML. Comments, hierarchy, links, metadata, sources, timestamps, types, values. TML pattern. TML.action. Pattern TML.action provides such functionality to TML. Commands, conditions, transformations, translations, variables. TML pattern. TML.viewer. Pattern TML.viewer add next functionality to TML. Alignments, colors, controls, fonts. How to write new TML patterns. This library is in development. Could MetaOutput be translated? MetaOutput uses English localization by default. However, any string in user interface or any string in output can be translated to any other language using TML. It can do any user which need it. Example on the screen demonstrates how to make it. What is MetaOutput extensions? MetaOutput provides basic functionality and mechanism how to expand it. This mechanism is small and simple and it available using MetaOutput client library. This library is implemented as NuGet package. It available by direct link is on the screen. This library is open source and source files. It available by direct link is on the screen. Which platforms are supported? Now implemented support only for .NET Framework 4.5+. Support of the most popular platforms is planned. Which languages are supported? Now implemented support only for C# and C++ CLI. Support of the most popular languages is planned. MetaOutput extension. Preview. This extension type is responsible for visualization of unknown for MetaOutput file formats. Example on the screen demonstrates how to make it. MetaOutput extension. Source. This extension type is responsible for sending to MetaOutput data from new sources. Example on the screen demonstrates how to make it. MetaOutput extension. Export. This extension type is responsible for sending data from MetaOutput to some specific file format, for example log file. Example on the screen demonstrates how to make it. MetaOutput extension. Import. This extension type is responsible for sending to MetaOutput imported data in some specific file format, for example log file. Example on the screen demonstrates how to make it. How to use extensions. Each file which have some URL can be previewed by installed extension. If specialized extension is found, it will be responsible for visualization. Otherwise, will be used generic mechanism. How to install extensions. Installing of new extensions is possible from Visual Studio Marketplace by link on the screen. Also, it is possible to make directly from IDE. How to write new extensions. The simplest way to write MetaOutput extensions is to use MetaOutput Client API. It provides enough mechanisms to write next types of extensions. Preview. Visualization of required file formats. Source. Sending to MetaOutput data from some asynchronous source. Import. Import data from file in required format to TML. Export. Export data from TML to file in required format. What is MetaOutput API? MetaOutput provides several APIs for next goals. Improvement of MetaOutput. Using of MetaOutput control in known applications. Using of trace message language, TML, in known applications. MetaOutput API. Client. This API provides possibility to write MetaOutput extensions. MetaOutput client library is available by link on the screen. Samples with using of this API are available by link on the screen. MetaOutput API. TML. This API provides possibility to integrate TML language to own application. It will support all available TML patterns and provide possibility to include all available extensions. Implementation is planned. MetaOutput API. Viewer. This API provides possibility to integrate MetaOutput control to own application. Implementation is planned. Integration to IDE. MetaOutput can be integrated into any IDE or editor using official plugin mechanism, only for that products who provide such API. It doesn't provide any influence on existing functionality, and it is working in parallel with standard tools and installed extensions from other vendors. Integration to IDE. Visual Studio. Plugin for Visual Studio is already implemented. Supported versions are 2015, 2017, 2019, 2022. Link to this plugin is on the screen. Integration to IDE. Visual Studio Code. Plugin for Visual Studio Code is not implemented yet. Implementation is planned. Integration to IDE. ECLIPSE. Plugin for ECLIPSE is not implemented yet. Implementation is planned. Integration to IDE. Xcode. Plugin for Xcode is not implemented yet. Implementation is planned. Integration to IDE, other IDE. Support for all popular IDEs will be implemented in any case. Integration with other IDEs or editors is optional. This is possible if owner of such product will finance this implementation and further support. As alternative, development can be for free in case of significant promotion of MetaOutput. If you are user of such IDE and want to use MetaOutput there, please send them this document. It will give possibility at least to start thinking about such project. MetaOutput license. MetaOutput has proprietary license which provide the following user rights. Permissions. Commercial use. Display. Distribution. Private use. Limitations. Disclosure. Liability. Modification. Warranty. MetaOutput price. MetaOutput is freeware software. In future it will have additional services which will be available by subscription. About community. This community, it is about effectiveness. Do more by less efforts. Any ideas is here. Any news is here. Any questions is here too. Join us. Community. MetaOutput. Official community of MetaOutput is available by link on the screen. Community. TML. Official community of TML is available by link on the screen. About feedbacks. Improvement of MetaOutput is impossible without feedbacks from real users. It is very important part of development, and if you have some concerns or see any bug, don't hesitate and report it. All found bugs will be fixed, often in the next release. All new feature requests will be performed. The most useful of them will be implemented. Feedbacks. Git. Primary place for reporting any bugs and requesting new features is on the screen. Thanks in advance for any reported bug or feature request. Feedbacks. Visual Studio Marketplace. Visual Studio Marketplace supports review mechanism. Direct link is on the screen. Will be great to see your rating there. It will help to promote MetaOutput and save time for development. It is very important, and thanks in advance for any comment there. About reposts. MetaOutput is new product. By functionality it hasn't competitors but has one drawback. It is unknown. Any repost is your contribution into this product. It is very important, and thanks in advance for reposts. About this document. This presentation was created by Vyacheslav Lozinski. Design of this document was made by Maria Lozinskaya. Direct link to the latest version of this document is on the screen. Contacts. Author and owner of MetaOutput is Vyacheslav Lozinski. Actual email and LinkedIn is on the screen. Thanks for watching.